welcome to episode 95 of Chew on This, a Nerds United podcast. I'm BJ.
Vic.
Before we begin, folks, I just want to remind everyone out there to go to patreon.com. That's patreon.com / Chew on This podcast. And there you can sponsor us for as little as $1 a month. And we give all kinds of different rewards depending on how much you want to sponsor us. We have different tiers and different rewards, anywhere from a shout out all the way to like you could podcast with us, control the subject matter and all that good stuff. There's all sorts of things, hats, shirts, all kinds of goodies. So that's patreon.com / Chew on This podcast.
All right, so we got Wawa. We got the hashtag that we've been trying to get going for months now. Hashtag West Coast Wawa. Real quick, the last 2 times we've been talking about coffee, because basically it's the only thing you can get out here in the West Coast from Wawa. Unless you travel to New Jersey, you can go check it out there, or Pennsylvania. But if you're in California like we are, you got to order the coffee. So look up Wawa on the internet, go to their coffee, order it, and you will see how good just the coffee is. We're not even talking about sandwiches and the cheap gas.
Yeah, while everyone's out there tearing down statues, no one's tearing down Wawas. They're building Wawas like motherfuckers, just not out here yet. And that's what we want. We want to get Wawa out to West Coast, that's for sure. So besides all that goodie, just want to remind you guys also that we will be at the San Francisco Comic-Con on September 2nd at 10 p.m. We will have some advertisements going on our website and on Instagram. That will give you the exact room number, but we are on the schedule. And actually, if you go to iTunes or I think Google, whatever, and you can download the app for San Francisco Comic-Con, and we are on the schedule. So, but we're September 2nd, I think, like at 10 p.m. I just don't remember what room number, but we're in the Moscone Center. So if you guys are in San Francisco or even in Sacramento, just stop on by there, and we'll have a live show. It'll be fun.
And bring munchies.
Yeah, and bring munchies. And if you could find us during the day, we're going to be wandering around the floor and like interviewing people and stuff and having a good time. So it'll be a lot of fun.
All right, so that brings us to our subject matter of the day, the long-awaited Marvel Netflix series come together in The Defenders. So we got Luke Cage, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and Iron Fist.
Yes.
So initial reactions. I think I'll go this time.
Okay.
It was okay. It was just, that's my initial reaction. It was okay. What happened in the show, it was a short one, only 8 episodes. Oh, and this is going to be spoiled, by the way. So.
Oh yeah, spoilers. Yeah.
What I expected going in, minus the storyline, because obviously I didn't know what was going on. I didn't really tease myself or spoil myself with it beforehand. I got exactly what I thought I was going to get with the ensemble cast here. I liked who I liked, and I didn't like who I didn't like. That's my initial reaction. What's yours?
Yeah, I just thought it was okay too. I see why they did the 8 episode format versus the 13. I don't think I could have handled this if it went to 13. I mean, they were stretching at certain parts. Like when the action wasn't happening, there was a lot of downtime and a lot of talking, and that a lot of it didn't really go anywhere. But yeah, my initial reaction was just okay. I still think like Daredevil season 1 is the pinnacle, like the top notch. It's almost like Orson Welles. They peaked it like right at the beginning. And nothing sustained, like even the newer shows haven't sustained what Daredevil season 1 did. But and I actually like to rank these shows like toward the end of the show. Let's remember,
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to rank where this sits, but initial reaction is just okay. It was all right.
I think season 1 for Daredevil was so good because it was such a new thing, and they didn't have to play in the Defenders world. They didn't have to cross anything over.
Mm-hmm.
It was just them. And because they were just able to concentrate on just getting Daredevil into that suit, basically, and becoming the hero that we know him as, that's all they had to concentrate on. They didn't have to worry about, oh, let's drop the night nurse in this section or this episode, or we got to pull her back here. And, so everything outside of season 1 Daredevil that started everything for the Defenders. So I think
Yeah.
that kind of played into it. I think they lost their showrunner too, which probably didn't help. But I think my main conspiracy theory is that season 1 only had to deal with Daredevil and telling a good Daredevil story. And I think everything after that was telling,
Well,
a good Jessica Jones, but we had to mix some other stuff in there.
they also, I think Daredevil season 1 had the best villain. Um,
Oh yeah,
he had a villain that was, both menacing and scary, yet I don't know. It's a very
really intriguing. Yeah,
very complex character, and I thought the weakest thing about the Defenders, besides Iron fucking Fist, is that I thought the bad guy, like, so spoilers, everybody, like, they kill her off. Like, Sigourney Weaver really doesn't do anything. She, like, I think, when they reintroduce Elektra, um, there was a scene where she's like kind of fighting her a little bit. They're doing that, like,
right.
like after that fight, all of a sudden Elektra, like, can beat everybody up all of a sudden, like,
Right.
2 days of training shit
Except
again.
for Daredevil.
Right. I mean, she even kicks Iron Fist's ass, which everybody can kick his ass. Even Gal kicks his ass. So, but yeah, this really bothered me, was that they were, touting this, like, oh, Sigourney Weaver is going to be this new villain, and I was like, oh fuck yeah, that's awesome, she's great, and she really doesn't get to do anything except for just chew up the screen a little bit.
Yeah, when she's on screen, she does what she's a good actress. She's a really great actress. So
Yeah,
she does what she has to do, but it wasn't very interesting. Like her backstory, when you find out, that the Hand is these 5 different people and Weaver is one of them, you're like, okay, that
yeah.
kind of
Why?
explains a
Yeah.
little bit.
Why aren't all these people dead? They look like they
they do
ancient.
explain that.
Yeah.
They do explain why they're alive for so long, but basically what happens was they've been living all this time, and there's this like solution or something that they all take at a certain time to live this long,
Right.
and Sigourney Weaver takes it on her own to create the Black Sky, and
Yes.
basically gives a dead Elektra all of the remaining solution to live, or to bring her back to life, to bring her this like other mystical second coming of the Hand type thing, where the it's like basically like it's supposed to be a mindless assassin.
Right. Like, but not as good as Winter Soldier, obviously. Like, she fails over and over again.
Like the Winter Soldier, Black Sky, like all these things that you even like, even the terrible Universal Soldier movies with Jean-Claude Van Damme, where it's like none of these fuckers read Frankenstein. If you just read Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, you'll realize that if you're trying to create a mindless monster, it's never going to work out.
No, you should literally just let them be born and train them to be assassins when they're born.
Yeah,
essentially.
Because every type of monster movie that they've always tried to create, like a monster army or something like that, anytime the monster comes alive, it always remembers its. RoboCop remembered its conscience, right?
That's right. Yeah,
exactly. So
fucking
if one of these fucking people would have just read Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, none of this shit would have happened.
Or watched RoboCop. God damn it! Like 30 years ago. Like, maybe we shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah. Just feed them baby sauce.
So, so like basically everything is predicated though on Iron Fist punching this like mystical wall that only Iron Fist can punch, and then
so fucking dumb.
Yeah, and then that will get into the cavern where there's a dragon, and that's where all the substances that will make the Hand last for many, many, many more years.
So if you've listened to our Iron Fist review, you will know that our review had nothing to do with the whole controversy of him staying white. Had nothing to do with it.
Right.
The character development was fucking terrible. Everything was a contradiction to the character itself. So anybody who like actually likes that show and like tries to defend it, you really must not love Iron Fist, or you're just purposely being ignorant. Because that was not Iron Fist, and in this show, he's the same fucking way.
Yeah.
And it's almost like they don't even understand that this guy is supposed to be really the best of the best in Kung Fu, and everybody fucks him up.
Yeah.
Everybody. And it's like comical when like Colleen Wing is like, you know, I've seen that look before. I wouldn't want to get in your way. I'm like, what are you talking about? This guy fucking loses all the time. This guy
Well,
loses all the
I
time.
did like that everyone gave him shit though too. Like what we've all been saying. I mean, not to the extent of like you suck at kung fu, asshole, not like on the show, but I mean, pretty dang close. I mean, everyone was just like contemplating, like, man, you talk a lot, or you say the same shit over and over again, you know, that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Yeah, again, like the first 2 minutes of the series is Iron Fist and Colleen running after some assassin, and I thought it was in Harry Potter. I thought a Dementor was going to pop up, you know, or some shit. But like I remember going like, oh no, this isn't good. You know, if they're starting off like this, and then it kind of like whenever it went to like some of the other characters, especially Daredevil.
Yeah.
That's where I really started to enjoy the show. Like I love Luke Cage, I love Daredevil. Jessica
Charlie Cox really carries the entire
Oh
show.
my god, yeah, he does. He's like, you know, the Tony Stark, I guess, or he
But
really does carry.
he's really not. He's really not the Tony Stark, but
Right,
he's
right.
just so much better than everybody else.
But what also kind of bugged me is that I love Kristen Ritter, but I did not like her Jessica Jones this time around. I felt like 2 years away really did some damage. It's kind of like, you know,
In the beginning, it was still the Jessica Jones, but then when the shit hit the fan, it didn't feel like her anymore. And I kind of knew what they were trying to do. They were trying to make her the, you know, the anti-hero, the reluctant hero.
right.
It just didn't work really for me.
No,
But
it
and
was
that was
too
towards
obvious.
that was towards the middle of it.
Well,
In the
if
beginning, she was it was still the same Jessica Jones when you first see her.
I guess maybe also she doesn't really know how to fight. Like I think she even says that in the middle of it, where she's just like, I don't know this kung fu shit, you know, or this
No,
karate
she knows
shit.
karate. No, she says she knows karate
Oh,
because she started beating the crap out of
because
everybody.
if
She's like,
you're
"Am I the only person that knows karate?"
Oh, was that it? I thought she said,
Yeah.
"Am I the only person that doesn't know karate?" Because I didn't see her use karate at all. In fact,
Oh, really?
if you watch very carefully when they're fighting, you kind of see her like in the background, kind of standing there, and every now and then she just throws a punch. She
Right.
wasn't like really in the thick of things. It was kind of weird, but
Well, let's talk about the fighting. The choreography and some of the fight scenes were great.
yes,
Right off the bat, though, in the first 2 minutes, and you texted me or messaged me when you were watching it 2 minutes in, and I already hated it. I was like, he's exaggerating, right? So I go and watch it like an hour later, and 2 minutes in, I'm fucking pissed, and here's why. 2 minutes in, he already tells somebody that he's Danny Rand the Iron Fist, and then the second part is when Colleen Wing is fighting. Yeah, there's some like intricate like moves that I don't think the actress does. I'm not sure because they cut away,
hmm
but for the most part, you can see the actress actually fighting. Right.
yes,
Then you get to the Iron Fist, and I'm using the Iron Fist, not Danny Rand, because he's supposed to be the Iron Fist, as he tells you all the time. So as the Iron Fist, this guy's supposed to know how to do kung fu. It's not karate, you fucking morons. It's kung fu. It's completely
right,
two different countries.
right,
So anyway, all of a sudden now the cuts are quicker, way quicker, night and day compared to when Colleen was fighting,
hmm
night and day. And right then and there, you knew every time this fucker threw like a roundhouse kick or something, it wasn't him.
right, right. They did that. They made it in the shadows like that so that they could put a stunt double in there. In fact, you know, I want him to get in the costume for the wrong reasons. I want to get in the costume so that they can get some fucking stunt double who knows how to do kung fu, and you can tell, you know, so that way it's
Right.
like there's a mask on him, you can't tell it's the Finn Jones or whatever. And that dude's like skinny as shit. I mean, I don't know how anybody can't defeat this guy. Like he's
And then of course the same. Well, I mean the fighting is the one part, right? The fighting is, but what really bothers me more than the fight scenes is his character.
yes,
And again, like he was in double digits years at a Buddhist temple, right?
hmm
Right, double digit years. This guy can't control his fucking mouth or temper for like the life of him. He
right,
just fucking can't. I mean, I've been to therapy only like 8 sessions, and I can control my anger way better than this fucker was trapped in a Buddhist temple for like 10 years.
And you can
For
still
10
beat
years.
him up. You can
I
probably
went
still beat him up.
I went 8 days. This guy was there for fucking 12 years or 10 years, and he can't control his temper worth of shit. Like if McDonald's got his fucking order wrong, he'd fucking lose it. If he got like regular Coke instead of Diet Coke, he would fucking lose it.
And
He
then,
would
and then he would say, "Damn you! I'm the Iron Fist, Danny Rand, and I'm
Yeah.
going to fight the
I
hand. Give me
need
my Happy
Diet
Meal."
Coke. I need Diet Coke to face the hand. Like he would Iron Fist punch the soda machine for giving it the wrong soda.
What bugs me so much about his character is like he's done everything except for like gone on TV and talked to the whole world
Yeah.
that he's Danny Rand, the Iron Fist. I'm like, wouldn't you like hide your
And then
identity?
he's surprised when somebody recognizes who he is.
you know who I am. Yeah,
That's what happened. Actually, I was wrong. That's what happens in the first
tunnel.
2 minutes.
In the tunnel.
The guy who's dying is like, "You're the Iron Fist." He's like, "You know who I am?" I'm like, "Motherfucker, you told everybody. You did the exact opposite of what Batman and Spider-Man do.
You told one person, they texted it to everybody.
You even went over. You even went worse than what Tony Stark did, which was get in front of cameras. He only did it once and said that I'm the Iron Man, right? He never said it again.
Right.
He never said it again. You can't stop saying it for anybody. And then you're actually shocked when somebody says you're Danny Rand, the Iron Fist.
Right. The guy, like, before he dies, like, loads up Instagram and he's like, see, just like dies. He's like,
look at your fucking Facebook updates. The last 31s was I'm Danny Rand, the Iron Fist. Anybody see the hand?
I need help.
I'm looking for recommendations. I'm Danny Rand, the Iron Fist. And then it's all of Hell's Kitchen in like New York, because you know how like Facebook has the recommendations right now. That was his Facebook.
One of them says like kung fu, martial arts store or whatever.
Likes kung fu.
Yeah.
Hates keeping calm.
Yeah. First in his class. There was only 2 in his class.
I mean, this dude looks pissed off when he's fucking meditating too.
Yeah.
You ever watch him like in the scenes where he's like got his legs crossed and he's meditating?
Yeah.
He's got a pissed off face. He doesn't have a calm face.
Is that resting bitch face?
He's literally like the worst fucking Buddhist monk ever. Like,
oh my god.
Or that must have been the worst Buddhist monk ever, temple ever. Like they must have used like heavy metal during like fucking meditation or something.
Yeah, I know. Well, so his story arc, there wasn't one story arc. It was literally just like a pretty linear, but like Daredevil and Jessica Jones, and I think even Luke Cage a little bit, had a story arc in the show. Like Daredevil started out with like he didn't want to be, he just wants to be a lawyer. He doesn't want to fight anymore, but he's fighting it. Yeah, he's fighting it within himself. And then, but even he, like when he's amongst them, like stole Jessica Jones' scarf and put the scarf over him because he didn't want people to see who he was.
That part was fucking funny.
Yeah, it was funny.
Where she's like, "You look ridiculous."
It was awesome. Luke Cage gets out of prison, and he wants to like fight for his community. And Jessica Jones, like you said, she's a reluctant hero. She doesn't want anything to do with this shit. She just wants to help her client.
Yeah, basically the first 2 episodes is catching up to where these people are, because you haven't seen Daredevil since season 2. Season 1 of Luke Cage was the most recent one, but you haven't seen Jessica Jones in almost 2 years. So it's basically just kind of setting up their story of what you saw from the last, season finales of their shows.
Yeah, like I kind of dug like when Iron Fist first meets Luke Cage. Again, you can totally see the difference even in acting chops. Just Luke Cage is just smooth and cool, and the other guy's just like, really just
not
like you said,
monk.
not calm, right? And I thought that
it's Luke Cage that tells him to calm down.
Right.
The whole fucking show.
Oh my god, man! Yeah,
did these guys even read the comic books? Like honestly.
I don't know. And see, like Luke Cage and Iron Fist go on adventures and shit in the comic books. So
yeah, but it's always fucking Iron Fist that's doing the Jedi type thing. And it's like, wait, hold on, let's just feel this out a little bit before we go guns blazing. And it's completely the exact opposite here. And it's always, and it's been that way for now 2 shows for Iron Fist. Fucking guy he just can't calm down. Like he's fucking just,
and every time
he's more angry than Batman.
Yeah. Yeah, his parents were killed by the Hand, but
I
you
mean, could
know,
you imagine if fucking Zack Snyder got his hand on Iron Fist? He'd be fucking murdering everybody.
yeah, just Iron Fist people to death.
Yeah, people, somebody has 11 items in the 10 item line. Fucking, he kills them with the Iron Fist.
um, what is the? Oh, so one of the episodes, they actually like. I think what is it, the third or fourth episode? They finally were all together and they're fighting in the corridor and all that. I thought like I wasn't expecting a Daredevil corridor fight like season one because they've never
No,
been able to match that.
but just like you were talking about, like the acting chops between Luke Cage and Iron Fist, who like Charlie Cox doesn't do all that shit. Like the acrobatics, he doesn't do that shit. But like you can see when he's fighting, right?
Yeah,
When he was fighting in that hallway versus the guy who's supposed to be fucking the best of the best kung fu guy, I was like, that guy's. If you put those two guys in a ring together, and you had to ask me, like, put a gun to my head and said, "Who's the Iron Fist?" I'd be like, the guy who looks like he can fight. Not the guy who still looks like he's never punched anybody in
but
his life.
did you see
When
like?
he throws a punch, you see his elbow like cocked up all weird.
I
and shit.
know
It's really annoying.
it's really annoying. He needs to go to like Mr. Miyagi or Cobra Kai Dojo or something like that, and like learn the real way to do shit.
He needs to get killed so Colleen Wing can become the fucking Iron Fist, and then we're all done with that bullshit.
Yeah,
It's
something.
like I'm over Danny Rand. I'm over
Yeah.
their. I mean, they already announced that there was going to be a season 2 Iron Fist, and they're going to change some shit around. I'm like, okay, you might be able to change a little bit around, even if you improve the story. You're still stuck with this guy who doesn't look like he can get himself out of a fucking pillow fight.
He and every time he explains his chi, it
Oh my
sounds
God.
so.
Sounds even worse.
I could almost argue that it would have been way better to get some of the ethnicity in this role, just so that they don't sound stupid when they say shit. You know what I mean? It's like if he had a British accent, he would sound way better when he's explaining chi or something like that. Otherwise, it sounds like George Lucas trying to explain midichlorians or something like that. You're like, oh wow, this is stupid. This is the dumbest thing in the world. Yeah, when so didn't Danny? So like Danny goes into the financial building and goes up there and like basically walks through the doors and he's just like, I'm
By
Danny.
himself.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm the Iron Fist. I'm here to destroy the Hand, and stuff like that. Or I'm here to see, I'm here to see the Hand or something like that. And I'm like, yeah.
Well, he starts off by not saying that. I'm like, oh, he's actually showing restraint.
Right.
Right? And then halfway through, he gets pissed off at his own words and he fucking tells everybody who he is. Because all he had to do was leave it at that and just say, I know who you are.
Yeah, that's it. And then that's it.
He would have went on to like, I'm going to buy you out or whatever the fuck his ploy was because it never came to fruition. That entire scene was just to get everybody in the room fighting at the same time.
That's all it was. Yeah, it was really stupid.
But then like the speech goes from, oh, he's actually going a different path. Because remember, the whole point right before that was him like, not using the resources that he has, just going guns blazing, like a fucking monk wouldn't do.
Right.
Like a Buddhist guy wouldn't really do, go guns fucking blazing all the time. So he actually finds this other alternative, this other way of defeating the Hand financially because he can do that. And then the beginning of the speech is like a different Danny Rand. And then just when you're like, oh, there might be a glimmer of hope to this Danny Rand in the Defenders, he goes fucking immediately getting pissed off, reveals who the fuck he is one more time because I haven't heard it in every fucking episode, and like it's like a bad 90s catchphrase that you don't want to listen to anymore.
Right? Where's the beef? You're like, Jesus Christ! Like, stop.
Yeah, just working it into every fucking like conversation. And then he like reveals that he knows that they're the Hand and all this other shit. So it's like two people wrote the script. It's like the Defenders guy wrote this first part of the speech, and then the Iron Fist showrunner wrote the second part of the speech.
I did think it was cool though when Alexandra, Sigourney Weaver's character, she says something, and then like all the people surrounding the table like stand up and they all have fucking weapons. And I'm like, oh wow, Danny, you dumbass.
Yeah.
Like,
and here's the other thing too is like why does he always dress like Ferris Bueller in a suit?
Yeah. he
Like
looks
he never buttons his top tie, and
no,
he's wearing like he's wearing terrible suits.
he looks like a hobo wherever he goes. I'm like, no building, like fancy building, would let you in. You
Which
know,
could you just turn on like Batman Begins and see how Batman dresses? That's how you should be dressing. Not like you're going to the fucking high school prom.
right?
God, I fucking hate that character.
So after they like fight at the building, don't they take off and they like hole up in the like Chinese restaurant for an entire episode?
Yes.
And
Yeah,
Stick
they're trying to figure it out.
Oh, and Stick shows up. Stick actually like is captured, but he lops his hand off.
Yeah, he only let out like a little
escapes.
like he definitely didn't pull like the 127 hours scream. He fucking like he did it like he did it like he closed a finger on his drawer like kind of slightly a little bit just a little bit like a nuance,
It was a clean
like
cut,
a little
man.
nuisance. Yeah, it was a little nuisance instead of like he popped a pimple by accident or something.
Right.
That was his reaction to it. He cut his fucking hand off. He cut his fucking hand off, and he was just like, ah, fuck. And then he just like, you know, and then he never mentions it again.
Yeah, and like, you know, Jessica Jones even like I said, she's all she cares about is her client. But it was so weird. It was like in the middle of all this shit, she's just like, I don't want to deal with this. I just want to deal with my client. And I was like, it was a pretty lame line that she said. I was like, dude, you're in the thick of this shit. I think you better stick with these guys because, you know, running off on your own, you're going to get yourself killed.
Even, like for being selfish, part of that would be like self-preservation, and the one way of not guaranteeing self-preservation was not hanging out with the guy who's basically bulletproof, the blind lawyer who could kick the shit out of anybody, and this fucking crazy dumb fucking white kid who can't shut up about his name.
Doesn't she like come back though in a car and drive over Elektra?
Yeah.
So that bugged me too. Okay, so they're fighting for their lives, and she decides to come back. And before Elektra could do anything, she hits her with the car. Right? She gets up. She gets out of the car. No, she gets out of the car and just walks by Elektra, and then forms with the rest of the group. And I'm like, what are you doing? Pick her up. You just hit her with the car. She's down for the kick her while she's down. Why are you walking past her? You know, just so that you could form up with the other three and make a cool like shot or something. I was like, that is ridiculous. You know, you got her.
The credits.
Yeah, the end.
Right then and there. If she just fucking like put it, you know, she just left her foot off the gas pedal. Credits.
Right. Now after well then, you know, we'd see like Sigourney Weaver actually do something. We saw her fight a little bit with Elektra right when she is resurrected. And I was like, damn, even Sigourney Weaver looks better than the Iron Fist. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, she looked really good. She was all like just moving around and shit. Holy cow, you finally see the extent of Gala's power. Like, you never saw her do shit. She would just run around. And now you actually saw her fight. Like, she's got like some sort of like, you know, some sort of power where she just hits you, you fly across the room and shit. Or she can move shit with her hand. If she shoots her hand at something, it'll move it. Pretty crazy stuff.
Well, didn't she do that in Iron Fist to Danny Rand?
Maybe.
Like, didn't she hit him at one point in time? I think. Remember when I think it was when he had her trapped in the warehouse in China.
Oh, I'm still traumatized by that show. I can't remember.
I think that happened that way. So then he was like, I'm like 90% sure that happened in Iron Fist, and he was like all shocked about it when it happened to him again. Like, he basically just runs like fucking again, guns blazing, doesn't get in any defensive stance because this white kid doesn't know any fucking shit whatsoever, and just basically runs right into her fucking hand.
Yeah, that's like, you know, it's like playing, you know, Call of Duty and just run into the room, guns blazing, and not knowing what's in there, and then you get
like you said, you missed, you completely don't read the sign where it says active mines, and you fucking just run in and just blow yourself up. Basically, what he fucking wants to do every fucking time.
Oh, another thing that bugged me again is Colleen walking around New York City with a goddamn katana. I'm like,
and the cop giving it back to her, like,
yeah,
it's a little. I was like it wasn't like she was walking around with like a weird like ceremonial Japanese like wear or something
Or
like
like
a
she was
samurai
handing
helmet.
like giving her wallet back, or like here's your
Yeah,
wallet
it's like
back.
this is a really weird wallet. It's got like wings on it, right? She's like, no, this is a little weird. It's a fucking weapon. It's a giant sword, and you're like, this is a little weird. You can have it back.
Yeah,
Like what?
here's your bazooka back, and the
Yeah,
missile that goes with it. It's okay, no big deal. Um, yeah. What else had happened? Oh, Daredevil finally makes the choice and goes back and gets his suit, and
yeah.
then he saves Jessica Jones like just in time. I'm like, fuck. How does he how does he get around that city so fast? He doesn't drive a car around. He just runs around on the rooftops, and he's got like mega listening like Superman does, and he just shows up like just in time before she gets her ass handed to her.
Right.
What else? Iron Fist loses yet again, and Styx saves his ass. Everybody saves Iron Fist's ass every single time in this show. Everybody
So
does.
like he has one thing that he has to do, right? He has one thing because obviously he tells everybody what it is. It's to defeat the Hand, right? He does everything but that. He does everything to actually not defeat the Hand. Like going into a boardroom full of the Hand and telling by himself and telling everybody that he's going to defeat them.
Right. It's so ridiculous.
By himself.
Yeah, there's in episode 6. In episode 6, they they finally like grab Danny and they like tie him down to a chair, and they're like, "You're gonna sit right here," because the whole thing predicates on the Hand wants Danny. They need the Iron Fist for something, and we don't know what it is just yet. And so they decide we're going to tie this guy up while we do our investigating. Luke Cage is going to pretty much watch him, and then you've got Stick sitting in the corner meditating and shit. And I think at one point Luke Cage actually has to leave the room or something, and like Stick's alone with him, and Stick is pretty much telling him, "I'm going to kill you because then that will pretty much defeat the Hand." Which, if you think about it, that's true. So this is like the Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark situation all over again. Without Indiana Jones, if you don't have Indiana Jones, the Nazis find the fucking Ark and then they get melted, and you don't need Indy at all. Okay, in the movie, it's the same thing here. It's like if Danny just either dies or he goes off to another country and hides long enough, all the people in the Hand are going to fucking die because they don't have the substance to keep alive anymore. So it's
well, in that case, it's like they don't like if Danny Rand actually just did it himself. Like this could have been just an Iron Fist movie,
right. Yeah, exactly. They tried to tie everything all together because Daredevil.
And here's the thing. So you find out later on that Danny Rand needs to use the Iron Fist to actually open this door, right?
Right, to the pit that you see at the end
with all the solution, right? So
Daredevil season 2, you see that pit. And they built a building on top of the pit in a year.
Right. So you find out that Danny Rand needs to use the Iron Fist to open a door. And I think he kind of finds that later on, and there are hints to it that they need him to do something. And that dumb fucker just does it. He just literally does it.
Well, they're fighting.
Elektra, Elektra
moves and he punches the wall.
Well, she purposely lures him in because again he's getting his ass kicked by Elektra. Well, and this very same fight that happens like 15 minutes later when it's Elektra and Daredevil is like beating the shit out of her.
Yeah, totally. But it just shows his stupidity. I mean, she points at the fucking door and says, "This is the thing you got to hit to open up, right?" And then as they're fighting, she lures him over there and moves out of the way. It's like if that door is in front of me, I'm going to go away from the door. Like I'm going to be like, no, bitch.
I'm going to run to the elevator.
I'm going over here. I'm not going to go over there because I know what you're trying to do. But he's a dumbass. He opens the door, and they're like, "Good job."
Well, he could fight normally. He could fight normally and still not open the door, but he's got to ignite the Iron Fist because he fucking sucks at fighting, and he's getting his ass kicked.
Well, and right before that, spoilers, they kill Sigourney Weaver's character off. They just Elektra just stabs her and she dies. Right, and the whole time I'm like, excuse me, like wasn't she supposed to be? It's like if Kingpin just in episode 5 just like gets hit by a car and dies, and you're like, okay, now what? You know, why is now all of a sudden Elektra's the leader of the Hand? Like this is really weird, you know,
Right.
and it didn't make a whole lot of sense. Like I would have loved to have seen Sigourney Weaver fight like a monster. I wanted to see like something kind of like even Kingpin didn't really do anything like fight wise and
Right.
toward the
Yeah.
end, and then you find out, holy fuck, this dude can fight, and he's huge, so you can't like just punch him and he goes down. There's
Right.
no way. So, but she gets punked like a bitch by Elektra, gets killed. So now Elektra is running the show. Um, let's see.
The pacing was really weird too.
Yes, and it's
Things were
hard.
happening.
You had four
You know,
different groups,
yeah.
4 different stories going on at the same time, with all the extra people that are in the other shows. Claire, and then like the Daredevil people, like was it Karen and Foggy, and then you got, every person had their counterpart or their supporting players in the show, and so they every now and then they'd pause for the action would end, and they'd pause, and then they would break away to one of these supporting characters doing something. It's like they had to give everyone something to do, and I was like, all right, I guess, like, but it's the same time, like you said, it's really, the pacing is very off, and what could have made the show really great is if they had a really cohesive storyline to focus on that brought.
Yeah, overall, that was the worst part.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to have to be with the Hand because they had teased it, I think, in basically 3 out of the 4 shows,
Yes.
and it just didn't fit right.
No.
Like like I knew I was going to get it, but it seemed like they didn't know what to do with the Hand when it finally came about. So overall, all right, let's get into our ratings. Let's go.
Well,
what's your rating?
Diversity rating? Or we can just
let's do that.
Actually, that's kind of reserved for movies, though. Really.
All right, let's just do regular rating then.
Yeah, regular rating. I'd say 3.5 lightsabers for me.
I'm right there with you. I think it's basically 2 if you don't have Charlie Cox in the show.
Yeah.
But I'll go 3 because when he was on screen, and luckily, even though the MacGuffin was basically, well, not MacGuffin, but the main person in the story was Iron Fist. The person who shined the most and had, I think, more screen time was Daredevil. Luckily,
yes.
So that pulls me to three lightsabers for the Defenders, and we're not even sure we're going to get a second season of Defenders. So
yeah,
it's really all bogged down by Iron Fist.
I think what's going to end up happening is that they've been reports of. I mean, every one of these series is getting a season 2 or 3 or whatever area that they're in, and they're going to have cameos by these characters, and that's the way to get around it. But I don't know. Like, I don't sure if I want a Defenders season 2, because when you put them all together, it's kind of like watching that Sesame Street thing. It's like 3 of these things belong together, and one of these things is not quite the same. It's
Right.
like it's glaring even more when they're all together. That Iron Fist, I'm going to say it, Iron Fist is a punk ass bitch. He sucks, and I really wish. Yeah, I hope maybe in the next series he dies, and they, like you said, they have to. Someone's got to bring up the mantle, and then that's where maybe you can get a Defenders 2 or something. I don't know, but we're stuck with this guy right now. So
yeah,
yeah, I don't know.
That's basically it. It's worth the watch. It's better than Iron Fist.
How does this fucking thing? How does this fucking thing end? It ends with
Charlie Cox waking up in a basically like a hospital.
Yeah, so the building comes down on him when everyone else got out. The building blows up and goes down the pit, and it's just him and Elektra, and they kiss, and then you're like, oh shit, they killed off Daredevil, but really they didn't, because I know Marvel announced the season 3 earlier in the week. So yeah, I guess he's coming back. And then let's see, Cage and Claire doing their thing. Karen and Foggy in the church. Jessica Jones reopening her investigation shop again. And then we do get, like, after the credits, we do get a Punisher teaser as well.
Right. So Go and watch it. It's worth the watch. That's basically it. It's an above average show.
Yeah, I mean, if you hated or disliked, hate is a strong word. If you disliked or despised Iron Fist like we did, just buckle in. There's more of that shit in this show. Try to push it away because there's other things that are really good about it. Like Daredevil is amazing, and Luke Cage is awesome, and Jessica Jones is back. So,
all right,
yeah,
that's it.
That's
all
it.
we got.
That's all we got. We're done defending the Defenders. That is episode 95 of Chew on This, a Nerds United podcast. I'm BJ.
Vic.
Until next time, folks, chew on that.
Later.